Today, we're going to talk about something that touches all of our lives, but honestly, can be pretty confusing. We're going to get really clear on the difference between mental health and mental illness. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had one of those days, or maybe even a whole week, where you just feel off? Like you're not sick, not in a way you can put your finger on. You're getting through the day, sure, but you're just not at your best. It's that gray area, right? I think we've all been there. Well, that exact feeling is what we're diving into today. And getting a handle on the difference between mental health and mental illness, it's not just about words, it's a total game changer. It changes how we see ourselves, how we help the people we care about. It's really about trading that confusion for some real clarity. All right, so let's start with the first big piece of this puzzle. What is mental health? I mean, we hear that term thrown around all the time, right? But its meaning goes way deeper than just not having problems or, feeling happy all the time. The World Health Organization has a really great way of putting it. The two words that really jump out are well-being and enables. Think about it. Mental health is the foundation that lets us function. It's what gives us the capacity to deal with stress, to learn new things, to grow as people, and to build connections. It's not passive. It's a really active, positive state of being. So let's break that down a bit more. What does that actually look like? Well, it's about resilience, right? That ability to bounce back after a setback. It's about balance, navigating all the ups and downs life throws at us. It's about having a sense of purpose. And it's definitely about building those connections with other people. But here's the key thing. It's a spectrum. It's not a switch that's on or off. Just like your physical health, your mental health can shift day to day, depending on, your stress levels, how you slept, or just what's going on in your world. Okay, so that's mental health, this big foundational idea of well-being. So then, what's a mental illness? This is where getting the distinction crystal clear is so, so important. Because now we're shifting gears and talking about a diagnosable health condition. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, it's a condition that affects a person's thinking, feeling, or mood. And here's the important part. It significantly gets in the way of their daily life. The key word is impact. It causes real distress and makes it tough to function, whether that's at work, at school, or in our relationships. So let's be super clear. A mental illness is a specific, diagnosable condition. Think depression or an anxiety disorder. It's a health issue, period. Just like diabetes or asthma, it is not a character flaw. It's not a sign of weakness. It's usually caused by this complex soup of factors: genetics, biology, your environment, your experiences. And because it's a real medical condition, it often needs professional treatment to get better, things like therapy or medication. Okay, we've got our two big definitions down. Now let's put them right next to each other and really nail down the differences. This is where we clear up all that confusion for good. First up is scope. Think of it this way. Mental health is universal. Every single one of us has it, just like we all have physical health. Sometimes it's great, sometimes not so great. But a mental illness? That's specific. It's a condition that only some people have, not everybody. The second big difference is just their nature. When we talk about mental health, we're talking about thriving. It's about our strengths, our resilience, our ability to function well. But when we talk about a mental illness, the focus shifts to symptoms, things that cause real distress and, get in the way of daily life. So you can really think of it as thriving versus struggling. And third, there's how we measure them. We already touched on this, but mental health is a sliding scale, a continuum. We all move along it. Some days are good, some are tough. A mental illness is totally different. It's more like a switch. It's categorical. Based on professional criteria, a diagnosis is either there or it isn't. Okay, so we've got these separate ideas down. But what if I told you there's a way to think about this that ties it all together perfectly? It's a model that really shows how these two things relate, and it's kind of mind-blowing. It's called the dual continuum model. See, most of us have this picture in our heads of a single line, right? On one end, you've got sick, and on the other, you've got well. But it turns out that's way too simple. And thinking that way really holds us back. So instead of one line, I want you to imagine two separate lines, or scales. The first one measures mental illness, from having a severe condition to having no diagnosis at all. The second line measures your mental health, from struggling or languishing all the way up to flourishing. And when you put those two scales together, that's when things get really interesting. And here it is. This model is such a game changer. Let's walk through it. Top left corner, you can have no mental illness and high mental health. That's someone who is truly flourishing. Simple enough. But now look at the bottom left. You can also have no mental illness, but still have low mental health. That's that off feeling we talked about, feeling stuck or empty. Now, here's the most important part. Check out the right side. You can absolutely have a diagnosed mental illness, but with the right support, still have high mental health. You're coping, you have a sense of purpose, despite your symptoms. That's the top right. And then, of course, bottom right is where someone is dealing with both a mental illness and low well-being at the same time. This quote just nails it. The absence of a mental illness doesn't automatically mean you have great mental health. And on the flip side, having a mental illness doesn't mean you can't have great mental health. They are two different, but equally important pieces of the wellness puzzle. Okay, so what? Why does any of this actually matter in the real world? Well, because understanding this isn't just an academic exercise. It's what lets us move from just knowing stuff to actually doing stuff. It gives us a totally new way to look at our own well-being and how we see others, too. Think about it. When we can separate having a bad mental health day from having a mental illness, it takes so much of the stigma away. It makes it normal to have tough days because we all do. And it empowers us. It encourages us to work on our mental health every day, instead of just waiting around for things to get really bad. So with all that in mind, here are 4 really practical things you can do. First, just start paying attention to how you feel. Maybe keep a simple journal to spot any patterns. Second, build some small self-care habits. Seriously, this doesn't have to be some huge production. 10 minutes of walking or just some deep breaths can be a game changer. Third, and this is a big one, if you're really struggling, reach out for help. There is zero shame in that. Talk to a friend, your doctor, a therapist. And finally, number 4, share what you know. Pass this information along. The more we all understand this, the better we can support each other. So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Taking care of your mind is a daily practice. It's not just something you do when you're in a crisis. It's like going to the gym for your body. It's something you do consistently to stay strong and resilient day in and day out. So I want to leave you with a question to think about. After everything we've covered today, what's one small thing, and I mean really small, that you can do for your mental health this week? Maybe it's just getting outside for a walk. Maybe it's calling that friend you've been meaning to catch up with. Or maybe it's literally just taking 5 minutes to sit and breathe. What's your one thing? I really hope you'll take a moment to think about that. And hey, if this explainer brought you some clarity, maybe share it with someone you think could use it too. And of course, if you want more explainers like this one, be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for your time today.